Dun, 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 dun. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. What's up, party people in the house?
What up, though?
Welcome to It's Live, one of the sexiest voices in the SFL,
Mr. Master.
Dave Axis. What's up, party people of the SFL? What's going on this Tuesday night? What's popping? What's cracking? What's going on? Everybody's still hyped from Sunday night's championship game and the amazing SFL minor league games last night, including an overtime game, because I am. Glad to see everybody in the chat already. I see lots of chatter. We'll get to the party people in a second. But in the meantime, welcome to Season 16, Episode 31, which happens to be Episode 93 overall for me. We're going to come up on 100 episodes pretty soon, just in 1 year. Unbelievable. Welcome to the show. I'm Dave Axis, your host as always. We've got the championship recaps tonight. And our panel, our amazing panel, our three panelists plus mystery guest number 9. And if anybody's got guesses, you guys can start throwing that in the. You can start. Oh my gosh, is that an Ashley Rose Finch sighting? Have we ever had one of those before? I don't think we've ever seen her in here before. That's amazing. Ashley Rose Finch, welcome to the show. Good to see you. Our mystery guest number 9 has the fourth quarter. We'll be breaking down the fourth quarter of that game for us. We're going to have our Championship Diva of the Week nominees, our SFL Minor League Week 4 recaps, Gunny's Pearls of Wisdom, next on Netma, potentially a fantasy final update. I don't know when the league got the stats up on the website, so if they weren't up in time to finalize that, then we might not get it until Thursday. And then if we have time, we'll do some Access After Dark. We'll see what's up. So let me go check out my favorite part of the show. Let me see my party people. Party people. Yo, yo, get funky. All right, let's see who we got here. Charles is the first one in. Kelgate Collections, Twin Screws back. Justin Reside. The lovely, amazing, perfect Pink Lisa's in the house. Tyler Falk, look at him subscribing for 3 months. Attaboy, Tyler. Mike All is here as well. Brooklyn Sniper 35 is back. The best quarterback, my favorite quarterback in the whole wide world, Ace Fennick is in the house. Followed by another amazing Hall of Fame quarterback, Ron Cochran. Rosemary, Blonde Bombshell 67, my girl out in Palm Springs is in the house. Bo Martin Jr., Bullet Boletsky, Andy 530. Who else? That's What She Said is back. Good to see you. The Bullet's back on. Bullet, thanks for hopping on Sunday night. Appreciate you. The one and only Ashley Rose Finch is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Cam Curtis is here. Who else? Bob Funk is in the house. Coco sneaking in and just subscribed. Hey, Tyler, I think Coco's trying to outdo you. He just subscribed for 7 months. Well, I don't think anybody's ever subscribed for 7 months before. That's crazy. That's a lot. Justin Reside. Oh, God, get my name right. I'm an SFLm rookie. What is it? Justin Reside? I don't know. Break it down phonetically for me in the chat, bro. I don't know. Everybody's got all these weird names, and I got to figure out how to pronounce them all, and half of them aren't even their names in the SFL. It's a little taxing on my end, bro. You got to give me a little grace here. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's dive into this panel. Do it. Pronounce mine. Oh, here we go. Oh, I'm not even going to try, bro. I'm not even going to try. Low. That's all I'm saying. Low. All right, that's it. All right. Hey, let's check out our panel tonight. People are going to start changing up their names with just all consonants just to make me. See, there it is. I already see it right there. I knew it was going to happen. People are going to change their name to all looking like Russian names that I'm not going to be able to pronounce. So I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to attempt it because I know I'm going to butcher it. So let's check out our amazing panel for show number 93. In the unscripted circle, he was unforgettable for so many weeks, but apparently he must be forgettable now because lately he's always batting leadoff in the unscripted circle. It is the one and only Tyler Falk. Tyler Falk, what's up? How you doing? Welcome to the show, bro.
Doing well, Dave. Thanks for having me on again. What a championship game and a good slate of SFLm games yesterday. Nothing's better than the SFL, Dave.
No, it's, I dare say, very little. Very little. I mean, I can't say nothing. My wife is listening right now, but, you get the point. Yes, everyone turned into Russian and German names. Loka G, whatever your name is. What's up, Doug Britton? What's up? Good to see you, buddy. Way to sneak in at the last second. In our unfiltered circle this evening, this guy helped us Sunday night. Came in and saved us when we had a couple people that weren't able to make it at the last second. He likes to kind of mess up the show from time to time and throw people in the matrix. I am talking and I am speaking of the one and only Bo Morpheus Jr. You can't see me. What's up, Bo?
What's up? What's up, everybody? What's up to all my SFLians out there? It is another glorious Tuesday evening here, and happy to be at the Dave Axis show.
Isn't every day glorious when you're in Denton? I mean, come on, let's just be
Every
real.
day is glorious.
Every day. Every day. Every day. All right. You don't want me to start singing. That's the last thing. I don't know what's worse, my singing or me trying to pronounce these names. I think it's a toss-up. Maybe we can get Jack's Data to give us the over-under on that bad boy. In the unedited circle tonight, I'm going to make sure I don't mess this up like I did the other night. Jeez. Dude, when Andrew was on, that was terrible. The good thing about that, though, a lot of people have never seen the deputy commissioner, so I think a lot of people, even though they saw him, I don't think they knew who the hell he was, which worked out perfect for me. So, in the unedited circle, all you need to know about this guy is that every time he's here, he's in a different room in his house. So, of course, I'm talking about Mr. Mike All. Mike, what room in the house are we? Oh my, is that the Star Wars room you told me about?
Yes, you were looking live at the storage area of my basement, and as you can see, there is plenty of Star Wars stuff behind me, although you can't see as much as I can see.
I see some plastic containers on some shelves is what I see. Maybe something.
You can see Yoda right here.
Yeah, I can see Yoda. That's about
and Star Wars stuff right here, and there's a cat right there.
Oh, yeah, I know. I recognize the cat from, I think that's episode 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, thanks, all three of you, and welcome back to the show. Appreciate all you guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, mystery guest number 9. Just straight up, before I even give any hints, does anybody have any hints? Or guesses, I mean, before I give hints? Swole, what's up? Good to see you, bro. Any guesses at all? Looks like, MSG just hopped in the house, too. Good to see him, too. It's not Cam, it's not T. Roy Gaines. They were already Mr. Guest, bro. Those ships sailed. The first hint I'll give you, he hasn't been on the show in a long time. He was on a few times before I went on video, but he has not been on video yet. Let's see what we got. Jacob from the Fleet, Big Daddy Kane. Yes, I got Big Daddy Kane. Jeremy Vega, Jacob Ashley Jackson, Dustin McCrack, Eagle. Eagle's been on the video for quite a few times, if anybody remembers. Maybe a few too many times. All right, hint number 2. If I had to rank everybody in the SFL, like, kind of like a stock, I would definitely call this guy a Best Buy. Dave Axis' wine distributor. Yeah, he'd have all 4 circles. Let's see. I don't know who this Loca G guy is, but he says it's him. That's hilarious. My hat salesman, Eddie Gage. No guesses, really? No guesses on that one? All right, last guess. Here we go. Or last hint, I mean. If there's anything I ever needed to know about the SFL, this is the insider that I would go to. That's got to give it away now. Jukin Rukin, no. Tyler's Mike, no, but I think he's big enough to be a guest. Hey, yo. Ozzy and Harriet, anybody? Oh, I'm starting to see a couple names. I'm starting to see them. I think somebody's got it. A couple people got it. There it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the general manager of the Portland Fleet and host of 2 of his own shows until several weeks ago when he was involved in a pretty bad, nasty kind of incident. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nelson Lozano. Nelson, welcome back to the show, bro. How you feeling?
You know what? I'm happy to be here. It's been a process since February. I had a incident happen at work that caused me to be out of the league for a while. But I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be on the show. It's still going to be a process on this day, but I'm definitely going to do the best to come back stronger than ever, sooner than later.
That's good to hear. So how much sooner are we talking about?
So just talking about that, right? We're going to be starting next Friday. So next Friday, I will have all shows dedicated to rookies. We'll have a sign-up sheet, and we'll have on Mondays a call-in for all rookies to kind of share a little bit about themselves. We want to give the opportunity to really allow a lot of the rookies a way to get to other teams and for folks to listen. Again, it's really tough sometimes to reach out to owners. So this gives an opportunity for GMs, owners, front office staff to listen, and again, we all have real lives out of here. So
right.
To go ahead and listen to interviews and give these rookies a real opportunity to get drafted this year. So I came out earlier than I wanted to, right, because I'm still not 100%. But I definitely wanted to make sure I gave my piece, like you, Ashley, Coach Cravens, a lot of other people have been doing recently. And I definitely have to shout out to my Inside the League team with Khalil Thomas and Ben Warner, and then also Bernard Smith for holding it down while I've been out for a little bit.
Well, that's awesome. We're glad to hear that you're doing better. I know it's still a road to go ahead, bro, but glad to see you're at least stepping back in to at least one of your shows to get that kicked off again. So welcome back to this show as well.
Appreciate it. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you, bro. All right, let's get on to some football. Ladies and gentlemen, how about that Season 16 championship game on Sunday evening? It has definitely been coined an instant classic and at least top 2 championship game in the history of the league, according to Cam when he came on the show Sunday night. Florida and Denver gave us everything that we had hoped for and then some. Coming down to the last play of the game, we're going to recap this whole game quarter by quarter later on. But first, what are we going to do? Let me see here. Oh, we need to recognize the Denver Night Wings as SFL Season 16 champions. I'm sure they haven't had enough recognition about that yet since Sunday night. So, again, congrats to Denver. Congrats to Jeremy Vega and that whole team over there, Adam Wiseman, the whole 9 yards. Appreciate a couple of them coming on the show on Sunday night as well. Okay, before we get to that, we got some SFLm to talk about. Monday Night Football. Usually we get Friday Night Lights. This week we got Monday Night Football, and it did not disappoint. 4 games were on the docket. Albuquerque at Birmingham, Salt Lake at Lexington in the early part of the evening. The nightcaps were Madison at Memphis and Ottawa at Tacoma. First game of that Monday night, which was just yesterday. I keep feeling like it was 3 days ago, because like a normal Friday, but it was just last night. Goes to Tyler. Tyler, we talked about this game. A lot of people actually in the pick'ems took Birmingham, thinking this would be the game to get them out. But I think Albuquerque's starting to show everybody why they're the number 1 power ranked team in the SFL minor league by Jack's data. Tell us about this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Albuquerque is just at this point just too tough a team to stop, and the Season 2 championship rematch that we all were hoping for, went Albuquerque's way, and it's kind of surprising on paper, Dave. Besides the rushing yards from Mr. Douglas Brown over there in Albuquerque,
right?
The 194 yards, 2 touchdowns from him. Birmingham can, on paper, controlled, the ball game. They had more passing yards. They didn't have any turnovers, no turnovers for Birmingham. They barely had a better third down percentage, 37 to 36, and they converted on all 3 of their fourth down conversions. That's a crazy stat, but the score line says 24-7.
Right.
Why? Because Birmingham could not get any further into Albuquerque territory. Albuquerque were the antithesis of bend but do not break. Albuquerque, you got to watch out. They're on a path to become back-to-back SFLm champions. This team is incredible.
Swole in the chat right now just said, we just keep finding ways to win. And I think, Bullet, I'm sorry, buddy. He says he's still feeling that sting from Sunday night. I can imagine. Like I mentioned on the show, I think that's a harder way to lose than getting your butt kicked, to be honest with you. Tyler, last thing on this game real quick, and actually on these 2 programs. Are we going to see anything different the rest of the season, or is Albuquerque going to keep going up and Birmingham to keep going down?
Well, I just hope that, a couple of the teams that they have yet to face have an answer for Albuquerque, because right now, it looked pretty close a few weeks ago, but right now with Albuquerque taking down, again, Birmingham's a different team than they were last season. So for them to beat Birmingham the way they did, I think was on the cards, in my opinion. But for Birmingham, they need to change up something, because right now I think they're trying to do too much, or they have one or two plays in their playbook that are leading to their downfall. And I think we'll see the second half for both these teams, and hopefully we'll see Birmingham make some sort of stride to make their way back.
I haven't seen the rest of the schedule, but I would love to see Albuquerque and Lexington. I'd love to see that rematch. There was like, what, 70, 80 points scored in that game, and that would be a great game. Even if it ends up being the championship, it would be great. Before I go to Jack's data, I completely forgot to introduce my main man, my right-hand man here, Gunny. Gunny, what's up? How you doing? What are you up to? Are you out to dinner? Are you at home? What are you up to? Are you with us?
I'm at home, Dave. I did go out to dinner. I had a soccer game. I've been driving around town looking for freaking gas.
Oh, good luck with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
So the weather held off for you to have your soccer game?
Tonight, yes.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear that. All right, well, Gunny, thanks for being here as always. We'll check back with you in a little bit.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jack's data. This Albuquerque-Birmingham game. They had 34.5 as the over-under with 31 points scored in this game. That's pretty close. Albuquerque was favored by 10.5. They definitely covered that. The thing that killed me about Jack's data, I meant to reach out to them and I forgot. This seemed to me like the most lopsided game, right? We talked about Albuquerque being number 1 power ranking, Birmingham being number 9 power ranking, but had the lowest percentage of the winner to win with only 45% chance to win. SFL Nation, though, we took Albuquerque overwhelmingly, 106-38 to start off Monday night, 1-0, moving into game 2, Bo. This game, where is it at, was a shocker to me. We were talking about Lexington before. We're talking about them maybe replaying Albuquerque at some point. They've been putting a lot of points on. What happened to them last night?
Yeah, this game had the potential. Everybody thought this was probably going to be the SFLm game of the week, and I tell you, it turned out to be the game of the week.
Yeah.
Real quick though, but Gunny, I feel you. For those of y'all who don't know, the East Coast is underneath a gas shortage. So here where I'm at, I had to go hunting for gas too. It was like a scavenger hunt. There was lines down the street. It was crazy. But anyway, so yeah, man, Salt Lake City basically outlasted Lexington, and I was actually kind of surprised. For those of you who don't know, I've been a big Bailey O'Shaughnessy advocate, and Salt Lake City's defense showed me something with this game. They actually depended. I think they depended more on their defense than they did on their passing game and their running game for a change. Brooke Bissell had a real tough game, so I'm sure Brooke will come back better than ever next week. However, but Tommy Utah had a great game. He went 32 for 39. He didn't do anything spectacular. He had 274 yards with 1 touchdown. But he did take care of the rock, even though he was sacked twice. He did not throw any interceptions. But on the flip side, you had Dave Burr, who had an okay day at quarterback, 22 for 32. But again, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Bailey O'Shaughnessy, unfortunately, for some odd reason, they shut him down. Only 10 carries out of the backfield for 58 yards and 7 receptions for 57. But what I wanted to note about Lexington, how I've never seen them get handled this season.
Yeah.
Lexington only held the ball for 15 minutes and 57 seconds, whereas Salt Lake City held the ball for 27 minutes. And so I was looking at the game trying to figure out what happened. And it all comes back to this. When I looked at their third down statistics and saw that for the entire game, Lexington converted 2 third downs and 0 fourth downs and 2 third downs. That let me know right then and there that Salt Lake City's defense shut down Lexington, shut down Bailey O'Shaughnessy, and shut down Dave Burr. They didn't give away any deep passes and completely kept Lexington out of the end zone, which is something I never would have saw coming. And Lexington, I think they had a wake-up call today. I think they thought they were going to run away with it this year, and Salt Lake City showed them something.
Yeah, the power rankings going into this game, Salt Lake City was 3rd, Lexington was 2. I'm pretty sure that's going to flip-flop with Jack's data this upcoming week. Speaking of Jack's data, they had 49.5 on this over-under. They, like the rest of us, expected a lot more scoring out of Lexington with only 28 points scored in this game. Lexington was favored by 3.5, so they didn't win that, and they had a 61% chance to win this game. So Salt Lake City really took it to the favorites. And then we dropped to 1-1 SFL Nation because we took Lexington 98-40. So we're 1-1 moving into Game 3 on Monday night, Mike. Game 3. Let me see. Oh, yeah, there it is, right there. This is the game that went into overtime, I believe, isn't it?
No.
No? Which game went in overtime? Anybody?
It must have been the game after this one because it
Yeah,
was
it's
mine.
the
Oh,
next
okay.
game.
All right, next. Okay. Well, I'm looking at the score, and I'm like, I know I wasn't up that late last night, but when you see a 31-29 score, you got to know this was an amazing game.
Yeah. So let me read some stats off to you here. Total yards 360 to 475, passing yards 203 to 301, rushing yards 157 to 174, first downs 14 to 22. Third down conversions was even. Fourth down conversions was very similar. Time of possession 20 minutes and 49 seconds to 22 minutes 36 seconds. Which team do you think had those stats?
I would have to say Madison, but I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me Memphis.
Yeah, no, Madison had the lower side of those stats, which is completely awesome because they were very efficient when they had the ball. Memphis had to work a lot harder. This was basically a throwback game to the first season of SFLm, the second half, anyways, of the first season of SFLm, where Madison was really dominating. They bent but did not break, and defensively for the first 3 quarters, they didn't let Memphis get anything but field goals. They were really gashing Memphis's defense with Trey Fennec giving them an infection, if I could say so.
Hey-yo.
And that infection led to Essex Denebola fever as he scored twice on them.
Mike is very punny tonight.
Yes. But it was an exciting game, and in the fourth quarter, that's when Memphis came alive, and they very nearly pulled off an upset, but Madison's defense managed to hold tight and lock it down to keep the victory for Madison.
You know, 3 of the 6 panelists on Thursday did pick Madison, so even though Madison had been kind of down, they actually they pulled it out. Somebody in the chat, real quick, I wanted to mention. Who was it? It was something with a B. I wanted to address real quick. It was about your show, Nelson. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Blaster Blade?
Blaster Blade, yeah. So Nelson he's had a show on Fridays for a really long time. He added a second show on Mondays. When he had his incident where he got injured, he stopped all his shows, and it's been a few months, I think, probably. So I think he's picking the Friday night show back up starting this week. But yeah, feel free to DM him if you want to get on there. Let's check out Jack's data, Mike. Jack's data 41.5 is what they predicted. 60 points, blew that out of the water. Memphis was favored by 6.5. They did not cover. 63.5% chance to win. And look at SFL Nation being all slick, taking Madison 93-44 to go 2-1 going into the last game, Nelson. That last nightcap game at 9:20 at night. Ottawa at Tacoma. Ottawa, had a bye in week 1. They had a couple losses. They were needing victory, and they fall short again. But it sounds like they at least pushed it to overtime and had a chance to win. Break this down for us.
Yeah, definitely. And just to kind of get that rookie who asked, I will be dropping it in the Discord, a actual list, so all rookies can go ahead and put their availability when they're free. There'll be 2 shows, like I said, Monday and Friday, and I'll send that out, no worries. But talking about this game, right, so I thought this game was it was a lot of fun to watch. I will not lie. Yes, the first half and the last half really told the story of how this game went. In the middle, it was really a defensive battle until the end. So, again, some of the stats, the Cavalry, 374 yards, 326 of those were passing and 48 were running. And the Tacoma Grizzlies had 425 yards, 268 of that was passing, and 157 of that was rushing, with 2 TDs coming from passing for Ottawa, and for the Tacoma Grizzlies, to one passing touchdown and one rushing touchdown. So again, it was exciting. It was really a first and fourth half, which I really focused on mostly. But again, Scar Patterson ended up doing 75% completion, had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and then Johnny Reno had a 73.17% completion, and then he had 1 touchdown and 1 interception as well. Again, you could see the running back difference in this game. I think Adrian Ellis really started off strong but fell off at the end. And Brad Jones, man, shout out to him. He was the player of the game. Did an amazing job. Really had a monster game. 33 carries for 152 yards.
Wow.
And had 1 rushing touchdown. So definitely put the team on his back. And again, the excitement happened with him carrying it through in the second, third, getting into the fourth. He really did carry a lot of that weight with Mike Savage, which I'll talk about afterwards. But again, really shout out to those folks. And it was honestly a tale, like I said, first quarter. All the points really came there at first, right? So in that first quarter, you had first Tacoma popping off, getting that field goal, then the touchdown from Ottawa to Styles, which Styles would come up again with an amazing catch that was very reminiscent of our defensive coordinator for the Portland Fleet and wide receiver Art Vanderlei, but that was kind of an homage to him. But it was a back and forth, right? So Ottawa scored, then came Brad Jones with the touchdown in response to the touchdown from Ottawa, which was amazing, got him up 7-10, and then Ottawa went ahead and responded back with a TD, making that to 14-10. All that was in the first quarter, 14-10. Second quarter, like I said, all defense. So honestly, between the second and third quarter, I have to give special teams props to Ottawa. They kept on keeping Tacoma in their red zone area, really pushing them back. But there was a lot of response there. In the second quarter, all we really had was a field goal from Ottawa in that standpoint. Like I said, Brad Jones really kept that carrying through. A lot of the quarterbacks couldn't break through. And the reason why you see Tacoma breaking that out at the end, if you really see Reno and Brad Jones' performance with the receivers, shout out to, again, Mike Savage, shout out to Kaufman. He had a great game. I think, again, everybody really working together really played a difference. Again, we had an interception that happened in the third, from Cody. We had a couple other interceptions. But getting to the fourth, and this is really honestly where I want to go to because it was crazy, you had a lot of big plays in the fourth quarter, okay? We had Scar Patterson going deep to Roosevelt, really did a really huge play there. Basically, Tacoma takes the ball back, takes the momentum. Reno throws a big pass to Savage. I mean, it was a lot of huge games. And like I said, I wanted to recognize the wide receiver Styles for that big catch he had. Scar Patterson threw it out there. He reaches out, and the infamous Art Vanderlei catch, which all of us know from season 1,
yep,
was given an homage in that game, so I had to shout that out. The last 2 minutes, though, let me give you the last 2 minutes and kind of the walkthrough, right? So there was a huge catch by Mitchell Sampson after a ball was tipped by an Ottawa defender, and it keeps Tacoma alive. Big pass, huge play. Mike Savage also had a huge play, really killing a lot of those yards. Like, again, they constantly had chunk plays at the fourth. And mind you, this is all 2 minutes. So in the last 2 minutes of that game, it was probably the most exciting I've ever seen in a long time. Huge play, again, to Reno, to Kaufman, to get a TD touchdown and make it 17-17. And then again, at 9 seconds, we're going to move forward a little bit. 9 seconds, we have Ottawa trying to close the game with 9 seconds on the clock to kick a 53-yarder and end up falling short. And that's the first time that I've actually seen that in the SFLm, that they fell short, giving 5 seconds on the clock for Tacoma to come back with a Hail Mary that was almost caught by the receiver. I swear to you, if it was caught, that would have been the play already of 2021. I would have sent it right there, but he unfortunately dropped it. And then, it went into OT. But, again, Tacoma did take a lot of chunk plays, right? A lot of short yardages, but the short yardages, similar to a parallel of a team who just won the championship in Denver, a lot of these small chunk plays can accumulate into bigger plays. And again, it gave an opportunity to go downfield. Again, Jones contributed a lot. Mike Savage had a huge first down. Jones, again, had a big run to get them at the Ottawa 20, and then Reno drops a dime to Savage, getting them to the 7, which ultimately closed the game to give Patty, I think is the name, or Potty, whatever the name is, an opportunity to get the game-winning field goal, and ended up being 17-20. But I'm gonna tell you, it was a blast watching. Any glitches that you used to see in APF, you saw it probably in that game as well. But it was a fantastic game. Hats off to both coaching staffs because I think they did an amazing job. And honestly, a lot of the Calvary alumni were at that game as well. So shout out to a lot of those folks as well.
It sounds like a real exciting game. It sounds like Ottawa fell just a few yards short of winning their first game, their first game this season. Here's the deal, Nelson. Excuse me. Jack's data had this over under at 47.5, so they fell just a little short of that 10-point threshold I like to put on them with 37 scored in this game. Ottawa was favored by 6, which they did not cover. They had a 60% chance to win this game, and we took Tacoma in the SFL Who You Got 90-49, so we go 3-1 on Monday night. Not too shabby of a night, SFL Nation, with the Who You Got. That is your Monday Night Football minor league edition in the SFL. Let's go hit Gunny up before we get on to our championship game recaps. Gunny, you still around?
Yes, sir. Still looking for gas.
All right. Well, I'm starting your music. Oh, that's right. Or maybe I'll play the right song, too. There you go. How about that one? I don't think Ray Ray's around, Gunny, so you're gonna have to do your thing. I don't think there's any owners in the chat tonight, so it's all on you.
Yeah, I don't see any owners in the chat. Oh, good evening, SFL. To the Florida Storm and the Denver Nightwings, thank you so much for an exciting season-ending championship game to end season 16. Shout-outs to the owners, Mighty RX and Jeremy Vega. Outstanding the way you coach your teams all season long. Congratulations to some of these minor leaguers. I called on a couple of players of the week. If you check it out, it's females. We got Kelsey Brown and we got Isabella Blackwell. Watch out for these ladies once they hit the SFL this coming season for season 17. Like I said, I've heard Georgia and Tennessee is suffering a gas shortage, so be careful out there. I have half a tank, and what sucks is the Colonial Pipeline Company. I have one like 5 minutes down the road, but I can't get a damn lick of gas. Also, Nelson Lozano, honored to have you on the program. Good to see you doing so well. I don't have much more to say. I may be missing Thursday. I may be in the mountains, but we're going to try to be here. Gunny is always on patrol. So with that, everyone have a great night, and that is all.
Awesome, Gunny. Thank you so much. We're going to have a backup ready for you just in case, depending on your Wi-Fi situation out there in Pigeon Forge area. So we'll have a backup ready for you just in case. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Season 16 SFL Championship game that had everyone on edge. It kept everyone entertained. It was a game-winning field goal at the end, a 1-point victory, the whole 9 yards. You guys saw it. But, Tyler, let's be honest. First quarter didn't start out that way, and it didn't look like it was going to be that kind of game. Tell us about it.
Yeah, especially the first half of that first quarter, Dave. It was pretty, is probably the best way to describe it.
That's actually a great way to describe it.
I think the main highlight of the first half of the first quarter was, getting to hear everybody's player name being read aloud. That's the staple of the championship game now. And a couple of tributes. I know one player had his daughter read it. One player had his mom read his name and position off. And I think that was pretty cool. I think a lot of people enjoyed that as well. Ethan Steed kicked the only points of the game 3, so it was 3-0 to end it. And it really picked up. The action and the intensity really started to feel like a championship game when Stephen Bush mossed his defender and took that ball down the field to about the 35-yard line. But that drive ultimately ended in a turnover for the Florida Storm as Ron Cochran's pass over the middle was caught by a defender by Mr. Vasquez, the Brock's boogeyman himself to take it away. And the final play of that first quarter, Dave, probably set the stage for what was to come. A huge Jared McChesney run. Wouldn't be the first time we'd see him go off all day.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you, bro. I was a little worried until that Stephen Bush touchdown, I think it was. The first quarter, 3-0. Snead with the only points, the only field goal. I was like, oh, is this going to be like every Super Bowl, right, that I've ever watched? But luckily for us, it didn't turn out that way. Other than the field goal, what would you say? What else is a highlight in the first quarter, or just tell me this: as you were down there on the sideline, you were watching it close up. Did the teams just look nervous? Did they look rusty? What was the deal? What do you think was the reason why we only saw 3 points in the first quarter of a game that scored 61 points by the end of it?
I think both game plans going into the football game, it didn't look like they were nervous at all. Coming into the game, I think they were confident. I think every team scripts out their first drive to how they're going to run it. Some teams, like to be conservative and see how the defense reacts. That way they can game plan the rest of the game throughout. So I think it was more so just the game plan to get off to a slow start, just kind of like two heavyweight boxers feeling each other out, seeing, is this play going to work further down the line? Is something like this going to be better for us as we go out and through the football game? So I think it was more so, and we saw that toward the end where, Jared McChesney goes off for a huge run. Stephen Bush has a huge catch. Yeah. It's more so them trying to figure out, how do we go about this game? They didn't try and do too much. Maybe Ron Cochran at the end of the first quarter. But all being said, it was probably just, people and the coaches and the players, being more conservative more so than anything else, Dave.
I just saw in the chat, it looks like MSG said, Denver's been down in several games this season, including the playoffs. You cannot count that team out until the clock hits 0. It's funny that we've talked about how Denver's been head and shoulders above the rest, but 2 of their 3 playoff games were right down to the wire. So it showed that they can blow teams out or they can win in close games, and that's a championship caliber team right there. So Bo Martin Jr., all of that 3 points in the first quarter to talk about this ridiculous second quarter where I think everybody was like, now we got a ball game. Why don't you break that down for us?
All right, Dave. So you know how when it's a 4th of July and you're waiting on the fireworks and somebody has the matches, right? And the anticipation is there and they strike the match and they put it to fire and it doesn't catch, right? So everybody's trying to back away and they're hurrying. So they strike the second match and it doesn't match. And they're like, oh my God, when is it going to work? And you hit that third match and all of a sudden you see that fireworks and you see it it ignites and they hurry up and put it down and everybody runs away and then all of a sudden you got boom, explosion, right? That, my friend, was the second quarter. Okay. So the first quarter started off kind of slow. And Denver basically at the start of the second quarter decided, you know what? Let's get this party started. Started out with the incomplete pass, no big deal. And Jared McChesney said, you know what? Give me the rock. On that play, after a great pass in the first quarter to close out the first quarter, the second play into the second quarter, Jared McChesney, that grown man, took a rush to the left side, and it was an audible. I want to point out that Josh Miller saw something in the defense. He called an audible to a run to Jared McChesney. Jared McChesney gets caught 5 yards in the backfield and trucks 3 different defenders on his way to a 22-yard touchdown run. If that's not grown man, I don't know what is. And so, okay, that was fabulous, and that broke the score open. All of a sudden, it's 7-3 Denver. Florida said, you know what? We're not to be outdone. Florida said, all right, give us the rock. So it's their turn on the rock. All of a sudden, Florida, if you watch back that second quarter, Florida started the play. They ran a play, and then all of a sudden, they saw something in Denver's defense. All of a sudden, Florida goes no huddle. They pick up the pace. They went to no huddle. And what they did, it was brilliant. Ron Cochran, being the maestro that he is, he did 3 short passes, gained about 5 yards here, 5 yards here, 8 yards here. Then all of a sudden he saw something, and he saw that Maurice Lloyd was attempting to cheat up. So he tried to dunk one over Maurice Lloyd's head, and he tried to dunk it off to Stephen Bush. Maurice Lloyd came this close to a pick 6. But Ron Cochran said, okay, you want to jump? You want to lean forward, huh? Called the exact same play on the no huddle. Caught Maurice Lloyd trying to cheat up again and dumped it right over his head. Stephen Bush is gone for a 62-yard touchdown. And that all took place in a minute and a half, less than a minute and a half. So all of a sudden, you've got 2 touchdowns back to back. Then Denver said, okay, let's slow it down a bit. We're going to have they took the ball, they got the ball back after the Stephen Bush touchdown, and they did a 10 scoring drive, where they slowed it down. They went majority pass on these plays. Ron Cochran did a 30-yard pass to Jared McChesney. They got everybody involved. I think it kind of threw Florida off a little bit because they threw to 5 different receivers, I believe.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden they got down to the 5-yard line. Jared McChesney catches the pass out of the backfield and gets all out rocked by Ryan Davidson. I mean, I'm surprised Jared McChesney even got up from the shot that he gave him. However, Jared McChesney got up and went back to the huddle and said, "Give it to me again." And Josh Miller was like, "You want it, you got it, buddy." So he went right back to him with the exact same play. Jared does a move on Ryan Davidson again and jukes him and gets in for the touchdown. And I'm going to try to surmise the rest of this quarter, but it was so action-packed. This is where 35 of the 61 points came in was in the second quarter. So fast forward to Florida's possession. This is a real quick one because they did one play from scrimmage to the tight end, and then next thing you know, Bolesky breaks free on a 73-yard.
Yeah.
I mean, Bullet did an entire strategy where he just was blowing by everybody like they were in slow-mo. And so 73-yard run by Bullet Bolesky, and then Denver came right back and basically ate up the rest of the entire second quarter. They slowed down the game, ate up the rest of the second quarter, and got in for the touchdown. And long story short, McChesney took the ball. They ran down the field again. McChesney took the ball again down towards the end zone, and Evan Carroll made a business decision that said, "I do not want to tackle you, Jared McChesney." He whiffed. And there was a smart decision by Evan Carroll because Ryan Tobin got all out, got the stiff arm until tomorrow. And Jared McChesney just said, "Get out of my way, little boy," on his route to getting tackled a few yards later. And then just a couple plays later, it was right back to McChesney again for another touchdown. And the second quarter, I needed a drink after that. It was too much.
Thank God it was halftime and we could all go get a drink, right?
Yes, halftime score 21-17 and 35 combined points in that second quarter.
So moving on to the third quarter, Michael, we had that explosion of points, 35 points I think it was, in the second quarter. Florida was down 21-17, like Bo just mentioned. And then they come out and they kind of, I want to say, kind of pressed their will on Denver, gave Denver their second shutout quarter of the game. And to be honest with you, after this third quarter, I got to be honest with you, I think the Rick meter, if you will, would have been in favor of Florida. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it definitely slowed down a bit coming out of the locker room, and Florida did impose their will. However, the interesting thing to note is their will in the third quarter did not include handing off the ball to Bullet Bolesky. Which is an odd choice. However, it worked out for him that quarter. Denver started with the lead in the ball in the third quarter, and they were driving nicely, focusing on McChesney and my former teammate as a Lincoln Rattlesnake, Ari Mills. And they were doing well until the SFL's best game manager, Josh Miller, threw a pick, an amazing one-handed pick to Maverick Hughes. Linebacker, not a safety, not a cornerback, a linebacker made this amazing one-handed catch, took it away and gave Florida good field position to start with. They started to drive down the field, but Denver wouldn't let them too far past the 50-yard line, so they had to punt it. However, once again, Miller threw an interception, giving Florida great field position this time. They started out already in field goal range, and Ron Cochran found Stephen Bush over the top of the defense, like right into the end zone, to take a 24-21 lead. And Florida's defense then held strong ending Denver's next drive with a huge coverage sack by big sexy Alex Dominguez. And then Florida took over once again with really good field position. It didn't take them long to get into field goal range, and that is exactly what they came with, a field goal. And the game's biggest lead, Florida's biggest lead anyways, at that point, a 6-point lead, which is what they took into the end of the third quarter going to start the fourth quarter. But it was definitely all Florida in the third quarter.
It definitely was. Shut them out 10-0. So in the first and third quarter, in the odd-numbered quarters, they shut them out 13-0. What do you think was the main key to keeping Denver scoreless in that third quarter? Was it time possession? Was it Florida's defense? Did Denver come out maybe feeling a little too good after that second quarter? Were they tired? I mean, just how would you label it?
It was definitely Mighty must have given the defense a really good speech, because the defense was definitely the strong point for slowing down Denver in that third quarter.
Yeah, Bullet Belitsky said lots of tipped passes for us. Needed to convert a few into turnovers. We just couldn't get our defense on the field. And I agree with Bullet. I mean, a couple plays here, a couple plays there. This obviously could have been the other way around, especially with the way that Denver had to win it, Nelson. Moving on to the fourth quarter of this amazing, just insane Season 16 SFL championship game. Break this fourth quarter down for us, bro.
Yeah, I got you. And before we get started, man, shout out to everybody in the chat that's showing me love. I appreciate it. And shout out to Art Vandalay saying his GM is unforgettable. This fourth quarter, right? It was, again, it was starting off, right? Like Denver had the ball starting off in the fourth. And to kind of break down, right, because they got a lot of the chunk plays downfield, shared it amongst Battle, Quintero, Mosley, and ended up their drive starting the fourth, ended up a TD touchdown to Mosley. And again, you saw a lot of the plays work to get what the defense was giving them. And regardless of the amount, the chunk plays was starting to make a difference. So in that drive that they ended up scoring, making it 27-28 Denver, they went 10 plays for 70% passes to 30% run. So again, really understanding what McChesney was going to be able to do, again, giving more on to Josh Miller to go ahead and push that downfield was kind of key. When it came down to Florida at that opportunity, when that had happened, Belitsky, again, really ran the ball. He had this amazing play where he shook two defenders out of the soles, right, and came through and helped out a lot with the run. I do want to shout out, and I know people don't always associate Doyle with some positive things, but I want to give him some recognition because Doyle did a great job of both running and passing. He helped out a lot for Florida to try to get some of those plays downfield to really keep a lot alive. And the crucial thing was there was a pass in the fourth quarter where it went to their tight end, two, who dropped a critical third and second at 2 minutes on the clock before the field goal, which I think, again, really gave that differentiating. And in that situation, before they had to basically give up the ball, it was a 45% pass and 55% run when it came down to Florida at that time, which, again, really putting on Bullet was really huge and really gave the rookie an opportunity to show what he had possible. Now, going into, again, when the field goal was made, it was ended up being Florida 30 to 28 at that time. And I think, again, a lot of people had thought that maybe the game, they just had to stop Denver, but that was nearly impossible. Denver, on that run, ended up doing 100% passes. So I do want to talk about that, right?
Wow.
So Denver had basically, again, ran a lot of that hurry-up offense that kept the defense off their toes. I mean, Josh Miller was just chucking it, and they were getting these big plays, getting to Mosley, and it's not like Florida didn't try to stop him, right? There was a huge sack from Hernandez that was a 2-yard loss. There was a huge sack again that happened with Dante Stoville that was that lost 6. So everything that had happened, it honestly wasn't looking like Denver was going to do anything, and they couldn't go deep. But what Denver could do, they had so many receivers, from Quintero, from Battle, from all these people contributing, that they were able to get themselves into a position where, again, with only 3 seconds on the clock, the OG, the kicker, who is now retiring, Kramer Jackman, went ahead and goes out with a winning kick that, again, allows him to retire in the sunset, which finishes the whole game 31-30, and Denver wins it and has their championship. So it was amazing to kind of see how everybody played it, right? Seeing Florida relying on the defense and relying on a lot of that clock management with the running, which, again, Denver was really having that defense on their toes, and utilizing every single receiver really made a difference for them to get into a position for them to go ahead and have Kramer Jackman close it out with the game-winning field goal while he gets to ride a horse into the sunset in retirement.
One of the best games I've seen, period, in the 3+ seasons I've been here, bro. Where would you rank that one on your list, Nelson?
I'm gonna tell you, seeing all these games are always exciting, but this game here, it was really hard to tell because you can tell the tale of the story, right? We didn't start off so hot in the beginning, and then we definitely did really much of this bulk in that later half of the games. And then it ends up being where this became an automatic classic. I saw it on your screen saying it was an instant classic, and you're 100% right. This here was on the edge of the seat into the last minute, and I think it was poetic that it was Kramer Jackman that is retiring, able to go ahead and give that final hurrah to give Denver an opportunity to win this. So I think this is an instant classic, not taking away anything from Baltimore last year or anybody else before, but this game here, I think, again, you didn't know which way it would go, and for it to be that close was just an amazing game overall.
I completely agree with everything you said. Jack's data had Denver favored by 3.5, so I mean you're like right there in that wheelhouse. Over under a 52.5. It's within that 10-point threshold we talk about. And SFL Nation, we took Denver 115-88 to go 4-1 over championship weekend. Not too shabby. What a game for Denver. What a game for Florida. And what a game for those of us watching to watch. I mean, absolutely incredible. Thanks again to Mighty and Jeremy for putting on such a great show for the entire league and everybody outside the league that was watching. You mentioned Baltimore's game last season. And last season in the championship week, who did we say it was? Giovanni Bolt played so amazing in that game. It was like drop down or hands down, drop dead, no second guessing who the Diva of the Week was going to be for championship week last season in season 15. And I got to tell you, I kind of feel the same way about season 16. Pretty much the entire panel was all on board with the same person. So what we're going to do is we're not going to have any voting. We're not going to keep you in suspense. We're going to try to get that person on Thursday to accept the award if they can come on the show. But I'm going to ask the panelists to all say it together on 3. Your Diva of the Week nominee and winner for the season 16 championship week is 1, 2, 3. Kramer Jackman. It's it. That is so obvious. You don't get any more diva than kicking a game-winning field goal for the championship as time expires. You go down the tunnel, you jump on Access Live, you talk about it, you talk about how now you're going to become part owner of Denver and your career has hit its pinnacle. You got the big cherry on top, and you just ride off into the sunset, like Nelson said. I don't think it gets any more diva than that, so we don't even have to talk about who Diva of the Week. No disrespect to McChesney, who had a hell of a game, 160-something yards rushing, a touchdown. But at the end of the day, this is the Diva of the Week, not the Player of the Week. And by far and away, Kramer Jackman is your Diva of the Week, 16 winner for championship week. So thank you, panel, for making that nice and easy to decide. Real quick, we're coming up on 10 o'clock. This is going to be a quicker show since we don't have as many games. But Tyler, as you know, you've got 2 of our content creators on here with us, with Nelson and Tyler. I think Bo and Mike actually do stuff too. I know Bo does some video stuff, and Mike does some writing and editing. So we've got a lot of content creators on this show. As you know, NETMA, hosted by Tyler Falk and Kendra Hall, is on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern. So tomorrow night, Tyler, tell everybody what's next on NETMA.
Of course, Dave. Next on NETMA. What a game. We'll go ahead and break down the Season 16 championship game, which ended up being a thriller and walk-off fashion by Kramer Jackman, and what a way to go out in style. We'll also take a look at the SFLm, as that now takes the control of the football season. We'll take a look at Week 4 and preview Week 5 as well as give you our Week 5 power rankings and maybe a look at how your SFL team did throughout the NETMA power rankings. All that and more at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night on NETMA.
Perfect. Tyler, we're going to wrap up here in a minute. If you need to bounce early, that's fine. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up here in just a couple minutes. Real quick, I wanted to let everybody know the fantasy football updates. The stats came out late. Johnny wasn't able to get it together. I wanted to show you this just to remind you, going into the championship game, this was the standings right here. Objective Zero and Dwayne were the only ones who had a chance to win. We needed Stephen Bush to do really well. They needed Ron Cochran to do, or Dwayne needed Ron Cochran to do really well. Well, they both did really well. So we're all on edge waiting for the numbers for Johnny to put them in the computer and figure out who won the fantasy football, playoff fantasy football for the SFL playoff season 16. That being said, I don't have anything for After Dark either. This might be the shortest show I've ever done in my life. I used to do like these hour and a half, hour and 45, 2-hour shows. But, you know, when you don't have 12 games to break down and plus 4 minor league and several Diva of the Week nominees, all that stuff, this stuff goes by really quick. So I do want to remind everyone, Nelson, if you want to shoot that out real quick, remind everybody when your shows are going to be.
Yeah, so my show will be next Friday. It gives folks an opportunity tonight. I'll drop the list for folks to sign up for Inside the League Monday after next Friday. I know this sounds a little bit complicated, but that following Monday, you'll have an open rookie forum. They can call the number. This is not like through Discord or doing anything like that. It's just your traditional phone lines, but you call into the station, and we'll go ahead and get you on there. You can give a little bit about yourself. And those rookies who maybe want to have a little bit more detailed when it comes down to the interview, a little bit more specific questions. I've had 2 of the panelists on my show, so they'll tell you we have a lot of fun. We get to learn about each and every individual that's on the show. And Inside the League really has been about getting to know the people of the community. I think we do an amazing job, Dave, Ashley, Coach Cravens, right? Like, we all do an amazing job. I just want to be able to contribute and give some other people other opportunities to get around as well. So, yeah, it's going to start next Friday is the official show again. So I'm going to put out the list. Rookies can put their name, availability. I'll contact you, and then we can set up everything. And like I always tell folks, don't be nervous. I send the questions to you. There's no hard balls. There's no anything to get you off the loop. But I think, again, it gives an opportunity for rookies to really put yourselves out there. If you're not too comfortable in reaching out to GMs or owners, there's a great opportunity for you to get on the show and join me. And I'm happy to be back, happy to be able to contribute like all you guys have been doing these last few months. Has definitely been a big help, especially with my recovery.
Awesome. Glad to have you back, Nelson. Thanks for being on the show tonight as well, bro. So that's not this Friday, everybody, but next Friday, Nelson will be back with his show. I see in the show chat, I see Hunter Norwood saying one day Dave will have me back on. Hey, you can come back on whenever you're ready, bro. Whenever you want to talk. I want to talk about the entire season Jack's data profile. So if you can come on this Thursday, you can be on, or if you can get on next week, Hunter, I'd love to have you back on so we can break down the numbers and see how you did this season and how teams did this season and how the SFL did, compared to other seasons. It would be great to break it down. He said probably next week. That'll work out. So this Thursday, I'm going to have a mystery guest. My mystery guest is already booked, and we're going to be talking about a few things. we don't have any SFL games to cover on Thursday. So that means we'll be talking a lot of minor league. We'll start talking about maybe some rookie draft boards, some positional rankings, some free agent moves. There's a lot to talk about in the offseason. So don't think just because we don't have 12 games to preview or recap that we've got nothing to talk about. Trust me, the SFL always gives us plenty to talk about. So we will hit that on Thursday. And then on Thursday, I'm also going to let you know how my schedule is going to break down coming up towards my 100th show, and when and if I may be taking a break. What? Yeah, what? Tyler with the head tilt? We'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll see what happens. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. Ron Cochran, thank you for the comment. Appreciate that. I appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys are my favorite part of this show, and you're the reason I do it. I mean, if you guys don't listen, if you don't log on, if you don't chat, I'm just sitting here talking to myself for an hour and a half, and maybe some of these guys right here, I don't know. But thank you very much for all the compliments. Appreciate that. Love you guys in the chat. Really appreciate you. Special thanks I want to throw out to Tyler Falk, Bo Morpheus Jr., Mr. All Over the Place in his house, Mike All, and back on the I don't want to say the campaign trail, back on the what do you call it? What is this circuit that we have? The content creator circuit. Nelson Lozano's back with us. Nelson, thank you.
I would call it the content creation support system.
There you go. That'll work. And looking forward to hearing you back on the air next Friday night as well. Also, don't miss. Well, you can't miss Bo Martin saying you can't see me, but don't forget about NETMA tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I think that's it. Thank you to my main man, Gunny, for being here. Hopefully we'll see him on Thursday. If not, we will have a backup plan in place because this show can't go without its pearls of wisdom. We got to have them. So to everybody that's down there in my Brady Bunch circles, thanks for being here. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We will see you in about 48 hours where we do it all over again. So Thursday night on Twitch, 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll see you at the Tees.